Sleep gives you superpower to supersize you. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 156 of our Supersize You annual challenge. Today and this whole month, we're focusing on the physical health and well-being aspects of our humanity. And we're talking about all things physical. Maybe not all things physical, but a whole lot. We'll have at least 30 topics on it, or 30 days that we cover this subject. And today's topic is obviously sleep. Now, I slept in this morning because I caught a cold from my granddaughters and have been feeling under the weather. And I was like, I know I have not been getting enough sleep. Since I joined the school platform last year, I am like a kid on the internet. I get on there and all of a sudden it's, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I usually get up at 4:30 and start my day, create my content in the mornings and go forth and conquer whatever it is I'm conquering on any given day. And so sometimes we get run down and we're more susceptible to illness. I was the last one to get it, so I guess I'm thankful for that, but I will be certainly very grateful and thankful when it's over. I feel like my nose is as red as my fingernails these days. So today, sleep. What does sleep have to do with anything? Sleep is the time, and I say this all the time to my kids and to my family and to my friends and to my clients and customers and anybody that will listen. Sleep is the time that our body repairs itself. I learned in my early 20s I had some really weird systemic health challenges, and the doctors had finally given up on me and they didn't know what to do, and so I made my own choices back then. I was like, okay, I'm done listening to you guys. I've lost 2 years of my life. I'm in my 20s. This is not how my life is going to go. And so I started researching and studying everything that I could on how I could get better. And but the medical establishment said I was going to figure it out. And it took me about a year, but I did figure it out. I realized that sleep, nutrition, not taking all the pharmaceuticals that they were giving me that were having side effects that were way worse than the symptoms of what was wrong with me in the first place. And they really didn't know what was wrong with me, so they were just giving me prescriptions to mask the symptoms, which were causing side effects that made other symptoms worse. And I was like a hot mess. And so I realized that by sleeping, moving a little bit, but mostly by taking care of myself and getting enough rest, my body was able to actually start figuring it out and healing itself and make it so that I could go on to live a beautiful life. It's been a great life. I have 2 beautiful children. I've got 3 beautiful granddaughters, and life is good. So today and this week, I have probably slept more this week and napped during the day than I have in the last couple of months. So there's that. But it heals our bodies. It allows our brain to detoxify. It allows us to consolidate our memories, right? We're observing everything. Everything we experience with our senses and with we take into our subconscious. Well, at some point, it's got to get consolidated and organized to go into long-term storage, right? We can't only keep like 7 pieces of information in short-term storage. So we have to have ways to file that away and then consolidate those files. I think one of the coolest kid movies these days that demonstrates this, especially with respect to emotions, are the, now I can't remember the names of them. There's a version 1 and a version 2. It's about Inside Out or something. I can't remember. I'm going to have to look it up now that I referenced it and can't remember the name of it. It's what happens when you're sick. Your brain doesn't fire on all the synapses. So sleep deprivation is a very real thing, and I've definitely experienced it several times during my life. When we're deprived of sleep, it impairs our judgment. We don't think it impairs our judgment, but it certainly impairs our judgment. It causes emotional deregulation or dysregulation, whatever word you want to use. It causes us to be more emotional and less rational than we would normally be. It weakens our immune system. It makes us sick and allows us to get things like colds because we're not getting enough rest. We often gain weight and are at more risk for disease. Who wants any of that? Not me. I'd rather sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. So as human beings, we are designed and our body requires daily rest, daily sleep. There's a disease, again, I cannot remember the name of it, that people can't go to sleep, and they usually die within a year or 2 because our body needs to go into sleep mode in order to do all the things that it needs to do to function properly. what's our challenge today, besides having a sip of coffee? It is to calculate the ideal bedtime for you. I get up at 4:30 in the morning, so if I go back 8 hours from that, well, let's do something that normal people do. Normal people get up at 6 to go to a job. So if I get up at 6, go back 8 hours, and that becomes my bedtime. So if I go to bed at 6 o'clock, if I get up at 6 a.m. in the morning, it means I should go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. If I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I should go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. What is the probability of that happening in the summer in Wisconsin for me? I'm going to say slim to none. I'm lucky to get in bed by 10 or 11, which is perfect, because I have found that I function really, really well on a minimum of 6 hours sleep. If I get more than 8 hours sleep, I have a worse day than if, and this is just me, than if I get 6 hours sleep. So you have to figure out, use yourself as your own science experiment, what works for you. I know a lot of people, and depending on your age, they make recommendations for different ages. Toddlers and kids that are growing really, really fast are supposed to get like 10 to 12 hours sleep every single night. Teenagers, 10 to 12 hours sleep every night. So figure out based on your age what is appropriate, and then test it out on yourself. When do you feel the best? I feel the best on about 7. If I can average 7 all the time, I feel great. So figure out what it is for you. And that way in the summertime when it's gorgeous outside, I don't have to go to bed before dark. And then commit to 7 nights in a row getting 8 hours sleep, and see how you feel. See how your judgment is. See how your emotions are. See how you feel from an energetic level, and share that with us in the comments below as you go throughout your week. How many hours did you actually sleep last night? Now, if I think about how many hours I slept last night, I can't really count it, because I've been dozing off several times a day. I've been literally working, sitting up in my bed so I could breathe. And I would find that I've listened, I'm on a bunch of training calls right now. And I've noticed that I've been dozing off during a couple of them a day. So I'm not sure how much I'm sleeping, but now I'm going back to listen to all the replays for what I missed. So how many hours did you sleep last night? So let's say last night I went to bed about 11. I didn't get up this morning until 6:30. That's pretty good for me. So that's 7.5 hours. That's pretty good. What's preventing you from having quality sleep every night? Is there a bunch of noises, dogs, kids? I remember when my kids were little and I was working in corporate America and I had a business or two on the side. If I got 3 to 4 hours sleep a night, it was a miracle. I was running on caffeine and not much else for like a whole decade. No wonder I had health challenges. Excuse me. Don't like colds. All right, so let's wrap this up so I can cough in peace. Today, all I want you to do is share in the comments below what time you're going to go to bed tonight. Let's just share our bedtime tonight and commit to doing that and going to bed at that time tonight. And then tomorrow, check back in and tell us how you felt, how you feel. All right, any questions? Hit me up and ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day. And I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. Hopefully not coughing so much.